Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
I'll show you how one rule change could make or break safety on America's highways. Think language skills are just paperwork? Think again. In 2016, regulators let English requirements for truckers slide. No more out-of-service orders for drivers who couldn't communicate in English. The result? More drivers on the road who couldn't answer basic questions or read critical signs. After tragic accidents, including lives lost, Washington is finally tightening the rules. Starting June 25th, every roadside inspection must begin in English. No translators, no apps. If a driver can't respond or read road signs, they're immediately pulled off the road. No exceptions. Why does this matter? Because safety isn't just about horsepower or experience. It's about making sure every driver knows what's happening on the highway, especially in emergencies. Trucking companies, are you ready? Make sure your drivers meet the new standards. Families and your business depend on it.
This illegal immigrant came into America in March of 2022. He was given a federal work permit by the Biden-Harris administration, and Gavin Newsom gave him a CDL license. On this day, he was driving intoxicated. When the traffic in front of him slowed down, he didn't slow down, and he plowed right through 8 cars, immediately killing 3 individuals and seriously injuring 4.
And unfortunately, this is something that should have never happened. The Trump administration and DOT asked for all these driver's license from California's non-domicile CDLs to be canceled. And of course, this wasn't.
American highways are becoming bureaucratic killing fields. Is the government liable? This isn't policy. It is a failed get-rich scheme that has already cost too many lives, and at this point, how can it be anything other than premeditated manslaughter on a mass scale?
Texas Rangers say 27-year-old semi-driver Alexis Osmani Gonzalez Capioni fell asleep while driving. WFAA is working to learn his employer. His charges, 5 counts of manslaughter and 1 count of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, arrested at the scene.
Police say a semi-driver, Brako Stankovic here, swerved into oncoming traffic, hitting a Subaru head-on. The 54-year-old driver was pronounced dead at the scene. Investigators say Stankovic did not have a valid commercial driver's license and was using a suspended license belonging to a family member.
Since the 2016 English rule gutting, large truck fatalities have spiked dramatically up 28% in crash rates by some measures. Thanks, Obama.
Everyone's seen that big, huge thing in Florida that's making national news where that trucker made an illegal U-turn, doesn't speak the language, got a CDL here in California, and now 3 people are dead as a result of that illegal maneuver. It's the end of August 2025 right now, and so far I've probably personally been on at least 100 rollovers this year alone, and there's always one common factor. 90% of all these jobs that I do personally, and it's drivers who speak little, if any, English at all.
Is there anybody else in the truck?
My company.
Your company, okay. You don't understand English. Pants. Put your pants on.
Pants on? What?
Put your pants on. Pants. Put some pants on.
Yeah, okay.
You don't understand English. What company do you work for?
The company, California.
Hey, don't you put your hands on me, Hey, you speak English? He don't speak English. He illegal. You ain't supposed to be driving them trucks like that. That's why this happened like this.
Last week, Vivek Sharma went to the DMV to renew his trucking license, but he was denied. The problem? New rules surrounding the process. As he explains in Hindi, only green card holders and U.S. citizens can get their commercial driver's license renewed. Sharma's been in the U.S. legally for the past 10 years, seeking political asylum. His final court case is next year. He's been driving a truck for the past 8 years, but now he can't. When asked what comes next, he says he's worried. Trucking paid well. The sudden stop in income means he won't have money to send back to his family in India.
October the 1st has been my 29th year out here. I have been dealing with truck drivers, trucks, containers, whatever you want to say in the shipping industry. And I have watched truck drivers' pay go from good to because they floated it with a bunch of illegal immigrants that will work for low wages.
Many of these illegal aliens had significant criminal histories: drug dealing, assault and battery, drunk driving, child abuse, rape, domestic violence, fraud, and prostitution. The problem is we don't know what they're carrying across state lines in an 18-wheeler. Terrorists will stop at nothing to harm the United States, and it's well within the realm of possibility that some of these trucks and some of these semi-trucks that are traversing our nation's highway could be carrying toxic chemicals, bombs, or God knows what.
I mean, you're talking about an army here of 800,000 people. Even if they just used a quarter of that for coordinated attacks on the same day or the same 24 hours, can you imagine?
You know, people win wars because of logistics. The faster that you can get the supplies to the front line, the better that you can keep your troops fed. It all matters. And so even without them doing a direct assault on us, if they were able to just cripple our supply chain by shutting down, going on strike, because there are so many of them, if they were able to shut that down at the same time that a large force was to attack us, then yeah, you're already defeated. And so this is absolutely a national security risk.
Washington's not importing talent, they're importing tragedy and guilt, one visa at a time. John Bound reporting.
New York might be living a sequel to Escape from New York. Only this time, it's politics, not Snake Plissken. Here's the headline. Zohran Mamdani, a 34-year-old Democratic socialist, is the front-runner for NYC mayor. He surged past Andrew Cuomo in the primary, and that win didn't just put him on the map. It put the Democratic Socialists of America in the spotlight. Polls? They've been consistent. One has Mamdani around the low 40s, Cuomo in the low 30s. Sliwa mid-teens. Another shows a big but narrowing lead. The split is generational. Younger voters want change, older voters worry he'll destabilize the city. Turnout's the wild card. Early voting is way up, nearly 5 times the first day of 2021, which is exactly the kind of surge Mamdani's ground game bets on. So why the escape from New York talk? Critics argue his agenda. Freezing rents, taxing corporations could send businesses packing. Think tanks and commentators warn about an exodus, and real estate agents are already whispering about a Mamdani effect as affluent buyers shift to the suburbs. Westchester contracts reportedly jumped double digits since his primary win. Mamdani's pitch is the opposite. Be a bulwark against Trump, invest in working people, make the city livable again. He frames this race as a mandate fight. What kind of city New York wants to be when national politics are at a boil? Zoom out, and Congress is watching. If a Democratic socialist runs America's biggest city, it could rewire 2026 strategies in swing districts, energizing a progressive coalition, or giving opponents a new foil. So, is this escape hype or a real migration moment? Here's what I'm watching. Final turnout, late-breaking seniors, and whether business leaders go from statements to moving trucks. If Mamdani wins, day one will test whether markets panic or adjust, and whether City Hall can convert youthful enthusiasm into policy that calms older voters.
Joining me now to discuss is Sarah Gonzalez. She is one of the incredible hosts over at The Blaze. She's a host of the Sarah Gonzalez Unfiltered show, and I keep adding the word "the" in front of it, Sarah. You might just want to make it stick at this point. Welcome to the show, my friend. It's exciting to have you on here, so thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thank you. You look beautiful as always.
I'm just trying to keep up with you, girl. I'm trying to keep up with you. I wanted to talk about this because it's so frustrating. We outlined at the beginning of the show. There's a history of, people from outside this country, Indian nationals, doing all of this with the DMV employees who are getting bribed by the schools, the driving schools, who are taking the money from these individuals who aren't proficient in English, but they're just giving them these CDL licenses. This has been going on for over a decade. I mean, we found cases back in 2015 that we outlined on the show today. And then you see videos like this get dropped just recently about another individual who can't read, can't even communicate with law enforcement. And how the heck is he able to get CDLs in California, one would assume, because again, they're not supposed to be getting them. So Sarah, what's your thoughts behind all of this? Because it seems to be a consistent issue here, and this isn't new. We're just now talking about it.
Yeah, you're right. And what's terrifying was the information that we learned, I believe it was maybe a week ago, where there was an audit that found that there are some 62,000 CDLs issued to illegal immigrants. So this is just the tip of the iceberg, what we're seeing, Brianna. I mean, we can expect that there will be many more cases like this. And I don't know how many Americans' lives will have to be lost before we start talking about holding people like Gavin Newsom criminally liable for murder. I mean, this is blood on people like Gavin Newsom, the head of the DMV of California, the state of New York, everyone who is giving these CDLs to these illegals who cannot speak English or read street signs. Everyone who is in charge of that, everyone who knows about it, needs to be held accountable at the highest crimes possible, because this is, of course, I mean, you're giving them the keys to a deadly weapon, an 18-wheeler that is capable of killing so many people. And so I keep thinking to myself, I mean, I know you've been critical of, people like Kash Patel and people like Pam Bondi, people within the Trump administration who just aren't doing their damn jobs. But I keep wondering, how many is it going to take for the Trump administration to come forward with a plan to get these people off of our streets? Certainly, we can do something to root them out and get them out of our communities, prioritize these illegals who are not only here illegally, but also have these CDLs, putting them at greater risk of being dangerous to Americans. So I keep asking, at what point are we going to come up with a solution to prioritize these people? At what point are we going to track these people down? Surely there's a way that we can do that. And it's just really very frustrating to me, Brianna. I mean, I covered on my show, I think it was yesterday, it's not just the illegals with CDLs. It's not just the people who came here illegally, who went through the floodgates when Joe Biden and Kamala Harris said, "Come on over, we're open for free." But it's also the people who came here legally, who are overstayed their visas, and who are now committing crimes and havoc in these communities. There's so much more work to be done, and it's just, as you said, it's so frustrating to see this happening. And it's like, guys, We're watching this happen. You can expect way more. So what are we doing about it right now to keep Americans safe? That question still remains to be answered.
Yeah, and Sarah, to be truthful too as well, New York is giving away driver's licenses, just regular driver's licenses, to illegal aliens. And there's been 2 cases where we found these driver's licenses to have on the first name line have no name, and they actually put it on there because they can't get a name from the individual who's looking to drive a vehicle in this country. I mean, that's how insane it is. When New York was reached out to the DMV, they said, no, it's completely legal here. We're allowed to do this. And then these are actually authentic. It's so absurd, but that's what's going on in the country right now. They want the rest of us to all jump on board of this digital ID movement with real ID, but they themselves won't sit here and actually hold these individuals accountable by demanding their credentials, demanding to figure out who they are. It's just an endless issue here, and it's really, really infuriating. I also wanted to bring up this as well. Let's just keep talking about Democrats, I guess. In clip 10, there's a Democratic Congresswoman, Janelle Bynum, who is now out here spewing lies, and she can't even answer her own lie when she's grilled on, I believe this was C-SPAN, if I'm not mistaken. The journalist who just simply asked her for more information about the claim she just stated. She's unable to do just that. Take a listen.
They did have a clean CR vote on September 19th in the House. Did you vote for it?
I disagree with your characterization and want to make sure that we're very clear about what Republicans have been doing. Any bill that they've put forth, they've always had some extra stuff to it. There's always been a poison pill to it. So I disagree with your characterization.
What were the poison pills of the clean CR or the continuing resolution? You say it's not clean, that was voted on in the House in mid-September.
Here's what's important. I think what you're trying to do is shift the responsibility to Democrats.
Okay, Sarah, she can't even answer the question. What the heck's going on here?
Well, what the heck is going on is that this is representative of the average Democrat voter, completely and totally brain dead. They take these talking points that they get from the DNC, who is also completely and totally brain dead, and then they go on these outlets and spew this absolute garbage and think that Americans are going to buy it. The problem with that, Brianna, is that as you just saw, I mean, yeah, sure, it was just C-SPAN, but it wasn't until just recently that the mainstream media had this awakening that, oh crap, wait, we actually have to push back on these people because the American people are not buying it. They see that the Democrats are the ones who are, of course, in charge of the shutdown. They know that we need 60 votes. And I mean, listen, I'm not a big fan of the education system here in America, but I have to believe that adult Americans can still do that basic math and understand that, of course, Republicans don't have the votes without Democrats to get this thing, of course, over the final hurdle. And so you end up with these Democrats who just spew this absolute garbage and think that Americans are going to buy it. I just don't think they do. You see all of the Republicans willing to work with Democrats, come to the table, let's reopen the government. We don't want people to lose their SNAP benefits. Now, me personally, I have a big problem with the SNAP benefits, but Republicans by and large don't want them to lose it. You know, they want people to receive their benefits. And it's the Democrats who end up, you know, holding back and holding Americans hostage. And she can't even tell you why. But this is, of course, representative of the average Democrat.
Yeah, they don't understand any of this. And it's quite strange how they continue to get elected into Congress in the first place because they're not even good at the pivot. The pivot was so awkward. She's like leans in like, all right, I got something to tell you. It's going to be pretty bad. They're just so bad at this. They're so bad. And speaking of just that, Sarah, I mean, like you said, it's getting really bad that like some are just saying, okay, we can't keep running cover. Kathy Hochul, who is the alleged governor of New York at this point, she's been occupying the capital region for a very long time now. She is calling out Zohran Madani. And I just like, it's two people I can't tolerate, but I have to side with her on this one because Zohran Madani is a communist and he has been lying to young voters saying that he's going to give all these free incentives if they support him and it wins in an election. If you're not smart, you don't understand how math works. So when the governor of New York came out and just outlined the fact that you can't raise taxes on the rich because they're already paying the bulk of the state's budget every year, it's really not going to go well for Zohran Madani. Take a listen to clip 11.
We know that Mamdani does want to tax the rich more, bring it up about 2%. He can't do that on his own. You've previously said that you wouldn't be raising taxes. Have you reconsidered that stance?
No, I would say one energetic rally does not get me to change my positions, I assure you. But I do hear people's voices. I process what everybody says, but I'm also have to balance governing this state and making sure that those people who are actually the reason we have a generous, supportive budget that helps lift people up, it's their revenues that we tax. 1.5% of New Yorkers cover about a third of our budget. That's enormous. I'm concerned about outmigration of people who are the ones who are supporting our budget. I cannot make up for that with middle class tax increases. I cannot do that to the middle class and the struggling New Yorkers. So this is the balance. I mean, this is my position.
Okay, so it's common sense. There's so many New Yorkers who have fled the state over the last 6 to 7 years. I was one. I fled New York. What was it, back in 2019? Before the massive self-deportation, I guess I should say, of those who lived in the region. But Sarah, I mean, she's actually sounding like she makes sense. What do Republicans or even Democrats have to do to calm down this communist type of rhetoric where they're lying to voters and saying that they're just going to raise taxes on the rich as if that solves all the problems?
Yeah, I mean, well, I'm glad that you mentioned you're not a fan of either of those people, because I would like to just state for the record, I am no Governor Kathy Hochul apologist, but she does have it right here. And I just think that this is the end result of importing all of these, you import the third world, you become the third world. You import all of these foreign-born voters who, as you see, the polls show that Zohran Mamdani is being held up by all of these foreign-born voters who are now, of course, naturalized citizens. And so this is the end result of that, is you have this guy who is completely antithetical. His policies are completely antithetical to what this country represents, to what this country was founded on. And you have a Democrat who actually understands that. It's like, you never go full commie, okay? Kathy Hochul's like halfway there. You never go full commie. And Kathy Hochul even knows that. And Kathy Hochul is not necessarily good at her job or even that smart. But even she knows that you can't just keep taxing people into oblivion and expect them to stay. She's probably looking at states like California as well, where Governor Gavin Newsom has had this mass exodus, a lot of which happened during COVID, as you pointed out with New York as well. He's had this mass exodus because what have they done? They have raised the taxes. They have raised the cost of living. Nothing has gotten better. You have these people who are paying an absurd amount of money to live there, and they have to do things like step over human feces as they're walking to work. I mean, that's just a totally unworkable situation. And people will be voting with their feet. She knows that. And so, I mean, I just think, again, New York, you get what you deserve. I just don't want it to have far-reaching ramifications that affect me because these foreign-born New Yorkers decided to vote in a commie.
Yeah. And speaking of human feces, I want to bring up Ilhan Omar because in clip 12, Ilhan Omar is going after Chuck Schumer for not endorsing Madani. Obviously, Chuck Schumer, he's kind of crazy. We don't really like him here, but he hasn't gone full-blown commie yet. And those within his party who are very radical are jumping on board to try to bully him to go full-on commie. Take a listen.
Hakeem Jeffries, your leader, has, somewhat reluctantly, but has endorsed Zohran Mamdani. Chuck Schumer still has not. Why do you think Chuck Schumer has not endorsed Zohran Mamdani?
I really don't know. It makes no sense. We as Democrats have always believed that in an election, we support our party's nominee. Schumer has pressured other Democrats to do just that, and he should be following his own advice.
Do you think religion plays a role at all?
Well, the tsunami of the anti-Muslim attacks that we are seeing is deeply concerning. And I would hope that the Democratic leader in the Senate would recognize that.
She has no problem addressing the anti-Muslim attacks, not the anti-American attacks and the terrorist sympathizer comments that he's made in the past. Chuck Schumer, I mean, again, I'm kind of rooting for him for not endorsing Madani. What's your take on that, Sarah?
Yeah, I 100% completely agree. And can I just say for the record, Brianna, I am so sick to death of having these foreign-born nationals, these refugees, come into my country and then they're going to lecture me on American politics. I am just so sick of it. Ilhan Omar represents Somalia. She has said it herself. She doesn't get to come in here, take advantage of our resources, take advantage of our refugee programs, and then come and explain to me how American politics work. It is absolutely absurd that she thinks that she is in the driver's seat, that she has the right to lecture someone like Chuck Schumer on American politics. But all of that aside, of course Chuck Schumer is right, but what you're seeing is this culmination of the radicalization of part of the Democrat Party. The rest of them are still somewhat level-headed, somewhat not moderate really, but they understand the balance. They understand how politics work. Unfortunately for them, they're going to have to address the Ilhan Omars in their party because they are growing at an accelerated rate, including people like, Ayanna Pressley, Jayapal, AOC. I mean, you have these people who have these policies, have these ideas that, again, are completely antithetical to America. And unfortunately, with some of these, we've actually imported them. We have imported these people here. We have elevated them to be in Congress. And we need to address that because it is a real problem that we have these people who hold these values, who hold these policies that are totally opposite for what we stand for. And we're supposed to listen to them. I'm tired of being lectured by these people. I just won't stand for it anymore.
Yeah, I mean, Sarah, we played the clip here on the show, Steven Crowder's Mug Club undercover team, and I keep mentioning it because I think it's just such a bombshell, not getting enough attention. But they caught someone who was actually working on Madani's campaign. He was a canvassing director. I believe he still works there currently. But he was an individual who openly tells someone he's on a date with, I guess, that Madani's not someone who just randomly popped up, that this has been the work since 2014. Now, the interesting part in this is this happened in 2014, he's alleging. In 2018, Madani became a U.S. citizen. So it shows that we are literally importing people that hate this country who are running for office and using our political machine against us to come in and attack within. I mean, this is a well thought out. This is very strategical, obviously. Obviously, Ilhan Omar being someone who ran in her community and is someone who hates America and makes that very clear. She only wants to talk about how bad America is while praising Somalia, the country that she allegedly fled, the country that her brother had to allegedly flee as well, and had to marry her for, allegedly, of course. But again, this is what's going on around this country right now, and we have to get a grip on this. Atlanta is next. There's a candidate running to run Atlanta, and again, it's another Zohran Madani as well, and we saw it in London. It's now happening here. I don't know how many more times I could say that. Americans need to wake up, but it's getting worse, and it's getting really, really bad. It's because also we have really stupid people on both on the left and the right, but mainly on the left. Kamala Harris being one of them. She's someone who now is hoping that we could start bringing in more ignorant voters, people who don't understand how our government runs. And she's talking about lowering the voting age in clip 16. Take a listen.
I think we should reduce voting age to 16. I'll tell you why. So, Gen Z, they're age about 13 through 27. They've only known the climate crisis. They missed substantial parts of their education because of the pandemic. If they're in high school or college, especially in college, it is very likely that whatever they've chosen as their major for study may not result in an affordable wage. They've coined the term climate anxiety to describe fear of not only being able to buy a home, but that fear will be wiped out by extreme weather, but fear of having children. It is expected that Gen Z will have 10 to 12 jobs in their lifetime. They are a larger number than boomers. They're a specific generation of people who are going to impact our nation and the world. And I think we must invest in them, but I think that they are rightly impatient with a lot of what is the tradition of leadership right now.
I mean, she's literally saying that these people are ignorant. They have brought into the propaganda that they've been shoving down their throats through the public school education system, and they've given them anxiety about climate change, which is not a factually based argument. And so now we need to lower the voting age so that those people who they've potentially brainwashed, Sarah, could weigh in on the next upcoming election. We've got about a minute. What's your take on lowering the voting age to 16?
Well, I mean, obviously, this is the whole ploy. This was the plan all along. They want to brainwash the next generation. They want to indoctrinate the youth, and they want to not only import the ignorant Democrat voter from abroad, but they also want to, of course, lower the voting age so that they can have more ignorant Democrat voters, because that is the only way that they are going to get their policies passed. That is the only way that they are going to get into office. I mean, this is the same woman, by the way, Brianna, really quick, that said that 18 to 24-year-olds were stupid, and that was why they lived in dormitories. That just goes to show you, she knows they're stupid. That's the only way that they're going to get more voters. She knows what she's doing. Of course, you shouldn't be lowering the voting age. Prefrontal cortex isn't developed until 25. Give me a break.
I know. And they caught me early. I was a registered Democrat straight out of high school, because right before I got my diploma, they threw me a voter registration. It was like, come on, pick one. Yep. And I didn't know which one to pick, so I went with the easiest one. And that's how it starts. And so, yeah, I mean, I probably, thankfully, I didn't vote obviously then, but you shouldn't. I would actually argue the complete opposite. Let's bring up that voting age.
Totally agree.
So you could avoid people like me at 18. Yes. It was very bad. Sarah Gonzalez, thank you for joining me today. Folks at home, give her a follow on X. You're doing an incredible job, and you actually have a great show as well, which is Sarah Gonzalez Unfiltered. And there's no "the" in front of it either. So head on over there. Give her a follow on X. And you're also one of the many people who I've noticed is widely suppressed, folks. So give her a follow so we could beat the machine.
This is why you need to know what neutralize really means in politics, because things just got heated. Did Josh Hammer threaten Tucker Carlson? Let's break it down. It started with Tucker Carlson interviewing far-right figure Nick Fuentes. Conservative commentator Josh Hammer fired back, accusing Carlson of giving a platform to hate, and dropped a loaded line. Unless the Fox is neutralized, the whole GOP could be at risk. Sounds intense, right? Critics pounced, calling Hammer's language a threat, with some even demanding FBI attention. But here's the twist. Hammer insisted he meant neutralize only in the political sense. Think debate, not danger. No physical threats, just a call to counter ideas he finds toxic. This mess highlights how quickly political rhetoric can be twisted, and why free speech matters. Disagree, debate, or dismiss, but don't confuse harsh words with real threats. In America, free speech means we defend everyone's right to speak, even when things get a little dramatic.
I do think that having these types of conversations are still worth it, because we get a little bit of insight into not only who Fuentes is, but the experiences he had with conservative organizations trying to groom him for their own purposes, and then rejecting him and attempting to bury him the second he asks questions that they deem to be inappropriate, which actually happened to be very appropriate. So I don't know what to make about Nick Fuentes. What I do know is, regardless of how much you want him to go away, he's not going away. This guy had 300,000 people watching one of his live streams recently. He's blowing up. And if you want to know why he's blowing up, look no further than our government's fealty to a foreign government that's currently carrying out atrocities with our resources. If you think my commentary about what Israel has been up to in the Middle East is what is leading to anti-Semitism in the country, how about maybe consider the actions of the Israeli government? Because believe it or not, people around the world do not rejoice in the endless imagery of children with their limbs blown off, or parents picking up their children's body parts and putting them in plastic bags in Gaza. People see that and they get angry.
Tucker Carlson last Friday had our Nick Fuentes on. It's kind of hard to cover this because there's so many angles to it. I'm trying to condense it down in my mind right now, what to hit in just this limited time. But he had him on, and then the Israel lobby came out and said, basically Tucker's Hitler, which he's not. And then that only makes the interview bigger. And obviously the people doing these attacks know that. And then I heard that there was a quote by one of the top American pro-Israel Zionists, Josh Hammer, basically calling for the elimination of Tucker. And I'm like, oh yeah, right. Then I actually read what he wrote. And it's just insane. He says, the Fox is now comfortably ensconced in the hen house. And unless the Fox is neutralized, the victim could be the entire extent of the GOP coalition. So you kill a Fox. So it's not just saying neutralized is a classic term for assassination. You're saying like a fox in a hen house, and they start threatening the Heritage Foundation, saying we're going to take your donors. Well, the head of the Heritage Foundation came out and responded and said we're not going to be bullied or intimidated. So this is a real Waterloo moment for the Zionist lobby, and they don't know when to quit. Here's the clip of the head of the Heritage Foundation not backing down, and then we'll come back with Dill Bigtree. Here it is.
I have more to say on this in the coming days, but today I want to be clear about one thing. Christians can critique the state of Israel without being anti-Semitic. And of course, anti-Semitism should be condemned. My loyalty as a Christian and as an American is to Christ first and to America always. When it serves the interests of the United States to cooperate with Israel and other allies, we should do so with partnerships on security, intelligence, and technology. But when it doesn't, conservatives should feel no obligation to reflexively support any foreign government, no matter how loud the pressure becomes from the globalist class or from their mouthpieces in Washington. The Heritage Foundation didn't become the intellectual backbone of the conservative movement by canceling our own people or policing the consciences of Christians. And we won't start doing that now. We don't take direction from comments on X, though we are grateful for the robust free speech debate. We also don't take direction from members or donors, though we are inherently grateful for their support. And we're adding more every day. This is the robust debate we invite with our colleagues, our movement friends, our members, and the American public. We will always defend truth. We will always defend America, and we will always defend our friends against the slander of bad actors who serve someone else's agenda. That includes Tucker Carlson, who remains, and as I have said before, always will be a close friend of the Heritage Foundation. The venomous coalition attacking him are sowing division. Their attempt to cancel him will fail. Most importantly, the American people expect us to be focusing on our political adversaries on the left, not attacking our friends on the right. I disagree with, and even abhor, things that Nick Fuentes says. But canceling him is not the answer either. When we disagree with a person's thoughts and opinions, we challenge those ideas in debate. And we have seen success in this approach as we continue to dismantle the vile ideas of the left. As my friend Vice President Vance said last night, what I am not okay with is any country coming before the interest of American citizens, and it is important for all of us, assuming we are American citizens, to put the interest of our own country first. That's where our allegiance lies, and that's where it will stay.
In the United States of America, the cornerstone of liberty is the First Amendment, which guarantees the right to free speech, free press, and open expression. This sacred protection allows individuals, regardless of popularity, political affiliation, or viewpoint, to speak their minds without fear of government censorship or physical harm. Tucker Carlson, as a journalist and public figure, fully possesses this constitutional right. His choice to interview Nick Fuentes or any other individual falls squarely within the bounds of that freedom. In a healthy democracy, dialogue, even with controversial figures, is essential. The role of the press is not to echo government-approved narratives or to cater to mob opinion, but to explore diverse ideas, question authority, and challenge public assumptions. Tucker Carlson's willingness to interview people across the political spectrum demonstrates the very purpose of free media, to allow Americans to think for themselves and form their own opinions. Silencing interviews because someone disapproves of a guest's views is not just undemocratic. It is dangerous. Furthermore, no one has the right to threaten or harm either Tucker Carlson or Nick Fuentes for engaging in conversation. Threats of violence are not free speech. They are criminal acts meant to intimidate and suppress open discourse. When threats and fear dictate who can speak or be heard, America ceases to be a free nation. The Founding Fathers understood that liberty requires tolerance, even for unpopular opinions. The First Amendment was written precisely to protect speech that others may find offensive or disagreeable. At its core, the debate is simple. Freedom means choice. The choice to listen, to question, to agree, or to reject ideas. But it must always remain a choice made by individuals, not imposed by intimidation or censorship. Tucker Carlson's right to host interviews and Nick Fuentes' right to speak are not privileges granted by society. They are God-given rights protected by the U.S. Constitution. To preserve the spirit of America, we must defend free speech not only for those we agree with, but especially for those we don't. That is the true test of liberty. When we allow open dialogue without fear, we honor the First Amendment and uphold the enduring principle that has made America the freest nation on earth.
Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing? Well, there's a few things I want to talk about tonight. Now, first of all, at the Brown Report, you saw all these truck drivers don't ever speak English. What they've been doing, basically, from what I've seen, they've been getting all these illegals, CDLs. Basically, it's showing up, going up, I guess, a CDL school, and it's been handing out CDLs willy-nilly. And turning our roads into fucking death traps, basically, You saw, one guy from, I think it's a guy from India, if I understand, made an illegal U-turn, basically, right in the middle of the fucking road where a car, basically, smashed one of his fucking tandems, a damn trailer, basically, and killed a few people, basically, or took a few people out, let's put it that way. Drivers basically go on the wrong side of the road, stuff like that. Can't even read English or speak English as well. Now, for the longest time, I say before Obama, basically, that everybody, you're going to be a truck driver, you have to speak and read English. One of the key requirements. I guess Obama decided to take that away. By taking that away, it allowed a lot of truck companies, stuff like that, basically, to hire these illegals, give them CDLs, and then just go on the damn road, basically, and turn our roads, basically, into death trap, stuff like that. And I guarantee you a lot of these people haven't been vetted or anything else. So they're giving potential terrorists, basically, a deadly weapon. In some cases, a weapon of mass destruction. Especially they give them, I say, a fucking tractor trailer, basically, that's hauling, basically, dangerous chemicals. Which they do all the time, tankers and stuff like that. And chlorine, you can go on for hours about stuff like that. So here they are, basically, giving illegals CDLs who cannot speak English, cannot read English, cannot understand the signs on the road, give them freely-nilly, and they're driving on our roads, basically, and turning our roads into fucking death traps. A lot of Americans have been killed, basically, through the careless acts, basically, of illegal immigrants driving on our roads who has no idea what the hell they're fucking doing, have no comprehension of safety or anything else, basically. You understand what I'm saying? So, yeah, this is where we're at. This is how it's going right here. It's total BS. It's total wrong. Now you understand that I think Trump, President Trump, the Trump administration, reversed all that, rightfully so, basically, and demanding that all drivers who requires a CDL has to learn how to read and write English and speak English fluently, basically. Because, being a tractor trailer, basically, is a very dangerous job. I used to be a truck driver, believe it or not, for about 6 months. I didn't like it, so I got out of it. But I used to do that for a while. Okay? And you just can't go around giving people willy-nilly a CDL license, basically. I went through a CDL trucking course, stuff like that. It was strict standards, and rightfully so. They demand how to learn how to back those tractor trailers up in tight areas, stuff like that, and how to drive in tight areas. It was a very demanding school. Now, granted, it's only like a 3-week school, if I remember. It wasn't really too hard in a lot of ways, as far as tests and stuff like that. But you gotta know what the hell you're damn doing. Okay, we had to learn pre-trips, brake inspections, stuff like that. Stuff like that we had to learn. So yeah, they're just going in there. I'm illegal. Just hand me a CDL, and there you go, and turn our roads to fucking death traps, basically. And another thing I want to talk about too. I guess that Muslim guy, the socialist Democrat, who's probably I guess he's a radical. I'm sorry, I'm twisting my words, basically. My apologies. But the mayor race in New York, but this not Mondati, I think this guy's name is, who's running for mayor of New York, and things looking good for him, but not looking good for New York, for I understand. A socialist Democrat who's a Muslim, basically, is about to be the mayor of New York City. And, it's got a lot of people worried, including a lot of Democrats. Now, they've challenged Mandami on this. Now, Mandami is claiming Islamophobia. All the leftist talking points about all this. But it's not just that. This whole guy's ideology seems kind of effed up to me. And this paving the road, basically, for more radical Muslims, basically, to run for political office. Now, we have one from Sudan, from Minnesota, Ilham Omar. I despise that woman, but she's all for Sudan. She's not for the United States. It came out of her damn mouth, basically. Okay, and you say anything against her, you're a racist, you're a bigot, you're Islamophobic, blah, 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 And she's bitch. There's too much Islamophobia in the damn country. She's part of a damn religion, Islam, basically, that hates Jews, that hates Christians, basically, and wants to turn all the world, basically, into their religious ideology, basically. They have no respect for women. There's no women's rights in a lot of Muslim countries, stuff like that, knows firsthand. But they are getting better on that too, But these are radical extremists right here, okay, that is running for political office, and they want to turn the United States like England or Western Europe, where they can go around willy-nilly and go around raping girls. Exactly what they're doing in England, basically, raping white girls. And the governments there just give a pass on that. They want the same treatment here. And we cannot let that happen, basically, because we need to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that we will not tolerate mass rape of American women. We will not tolerate that. And we got to point and make it real clear, if you do that, you're going to spend hefty time in prison, basically, and you will get deported. But for some reason, with the Democrats and the leftards, for every time you miss deportation, they get mad and call you a xenophobe and everything else for wanting to deport these motherfuckers. Let me tell you something, okay? When Joe Biden opened the southern borders and let all these people in here, basically, we have left the door not just for drug cartels to come in here, but foreign terrorist organizations coming into our countries as well. And these people hate America, hate for what America stands for, hates Western culture in general, hates the fact that women have the same rights as we do, basically, okay? And they look at women as property, basically. And these are the people we have in our country right now. Now, Trump got a majority amount of them out of here, and rightfully so, but we still have a long ways to go, because, for I understand, Joe Biden let in over 22 million people just willy-nilly into our damn country. And we have dangerous roads and everything else. We have radical socialists that's about to win, basically, political offices as well. And all these young white New Yorkers is cheering for Mandami and giving themselves high fives for voting for this guy. I said, okay, go ahead and vote for you. Go ahead and vote for him. Just go ahead, okay? Didn't say we didn't warn you when New York turns into a damn shithole because of this damn guy. Now, he thinks about raising the tax by 1.5% on the rich, basically, that will pay for a lot of his so-called free programs. Government-ran stores. I mean, I'm like, how in the hell are you going to pay for all the stuff that he wants to get done, basically? It's like the AOC 2.0, basically. Just raise taxes and you can afford all this, and they can give away all this free stuff. And you had the New York governor, Kathy Hochul, basically, is kind of worried about this guy, and rightfully so, I might add. I'm on her side on this one because, a lot of people left New York for past several years, basically. There's a mass exodus out of New York, especially what's been going on in New York City, basically, for the past 10 or so years. I've been to New York City. It is a nice, at that time I visited, it was a nice historical city. But flooding the city with all these illegals turned New York into basically a shithole. Now it's called like New York Shitty now, crap everywhere and urine every day and wearing shit like that, and crime rate is out of control in NYC, basically. But what she's afraid of too, and I can't blame her on this, I'm kind of repeating myself, that if you start raising taxes on the rich, now the rich was hightail it out of there. Not only hightail it out of there, they'll take their business out of New York as well, out of New York City. Exactly what will happen right there. So you have not only, I would say the rich people moving out, but you'll have all this tax revenue basically going out as well. It would bankrupt New York City. Now they have Andrew Cuomo running for mayor of New York City. I guess politics, all this guy knows, is all he did most of his life. He should realize that his political career is over, but I guess he wants to go for one final run. Hopefully he wins this election as the mayor of New York City. Good luck with that, because a lot of people remembered what he did, Andrew Cuomo, basically, and, how he got removed for being governor in the first damn place. So him chance of winning the mayor race in New York City is pretty slim, it looks like to me. Unless a miracle happens. That's all I can say. Unless a miracle happens. Now, the Republican guy who's running for the mayor of New York City, his chance is damn near zero, okay? I'm just happy to bear bad news, but it's just fucking zero. I don't think this guy likes Trump, and Trump is staying out of the New York City race, and rightfully so. But it's paving the way, though, too, for more radical extremist Muslims winning political offices and stuff like that will fundamentally change America. And from what I understand, they already took over basically Dearborn, Michigan, where they had those call of prayers almost every fucking morning, 5 times a day, basically, changing all the street names to fucking radical Islamist names and stuff like that. And when we go to city council and challenge them on it, they call it Islamophobe and all kinds of fucking names and try to run you out of their fucking city. This is what we have. This is where we're at, and this is what we have right now, okay? This is where we have right now. And they're taking over other communities, basically, across the United States as well. Basically, instead of the United States of America, it'd be the Islam Republic of America, something like that, We have sharia law in the United States. But let's just see where this goes right here. And one final note, basically, before I shut this video down, you have the EBT crowd, all these EBT card holders, basically, raising Cain in fear that Trump, well, I'm doing this video on October 31st, basically, on Halloween. So time I post this video, it should be EBT Day. Or a lot of people like to call it Mother's Day, basically. Yes, a lot of people on the first of the month, when people get their EBT cards and their welfare, stuff like that, they call it Mother's Day. Okay, so be it. I'll digress from that. But when they wake up in the morning, or today when you watch this video, and that EBT card has no money in it, a lot of them are threatening to riot, loot, and everything else. We'll see where this goes with that as well. And here's the thing what gets me. A lot of these people I'm seeing going on TikTok, especially, and Instagram, but mostly TikTok, mostly on TikTok, going out there and saying that if we don't get our EBT cards, they're going to riot, loot, and they're demanding all the store employees to stand down, basically. Let them go into Walmart and Kroger's and Sam's Club, wherever have you. Let them go in there and just take every fucking thing. Saying that, it's the government's fault and everything else. They're saying it's Trump's fault. Let me tell you something. I would say this. Republicans have been trying really hard to get the funds in, basically, to reopen the government maybe partially and fund the EBT program. Even offer single-issue bills and stuff like that. The Democrats keeps rejecting them because they want to spend trillions of dollars on useless stuff that doesn't benefit America. Basically, that's exactly what Democrats are doing right there. So you have these obese women, Jabba the Hutt women, basically, who's not all attractive. Now, I'm not exactly a slim and trim myself. Actually, I'm trying to lose weight right now because I look at myself. I'm like, God, like, damn, you're getting too damn fat, dude. You need to lose some weight. So I'm trying to lose weight right now. Watch what I eat, exercise, stuff like that, and hopefully I can lose maybe 100 pounds within a few months, maybe 6 months. Okay, but we'll see where that goes right there. But I will never ever let myself to look like the ladies I see on TikTok on these EPT women. They're fat, they're ugly, they never had a career, probably have a job. All they know how to do is go out there and have 4 or 5 kids, basically with different baby daddies, basically. So, they're going on TikTok or social media crying about EPT cars not being filled full of money, so they can buy food for their damn kids. But I'm going to stitch a video where the lady was really happy with his EPT program. Okay, it's not all in the up and up. They're not all going out there buying food for their kids and feed their damn kids. Well, a lot of them, I'm not saying all of them, but I say a lot of them are doing it, basically. They're selling their fucking food stamp cards, basically, okay? Selling it so they can buy all these beauty products, stuff like that. Or they get some fucking side boyfriend, give their fucking boyfriend their EPT card so he can go to the store, buy what he wants, instead of put that money towards the kids where it's supposed to go as well. Yeah, they get mad when they run out because they can't feed their damn kids, but it's their damn fault for not managing it right, selling it, doing illegal stuff with it, using it to buy drugs and everything else, instead of using it to feed their damn kids. Yeah, they're going on fucking social media crying and threatening to riot and loot and everything else if they don't get their EPT cards filled up. That is just total lunacy, in my opinion. I really don't have no sympathy for these people. And a lot of people don't either. And why should we feel sorry for them? And why should we have any sympathy for them? Okay? Main thing I want to tell them, hey, lose some damn weight. Okay? That's fat shaming. No. What these women are doing to themselves is not healthy at all. A lot of them are diabetic, stuff like that, basically. Putting further strains on our healthcare system. But the majority of these women need to do is exercise, lose weight, educate themselves, okay? Get a damn job where you know you're getting a damn paycheck, basically, okay, where you should, but a hell of a lot more likely to it. And I'll guarantee you'll feel a lot better about yourself, have a little more pride and self-respect about yourself by doing it, instead of sitting at home living off EPT cards, living off the taxpayers, basically. Just lay on the couch and do whatever and just get fat all fucking day by eating fucking ding-dongs and Twinkies. We all have seen it. Those of us who works our ass off trying to get a meager check every damn week, or work 2 jobs trying to survive. We go to the grocery store. We'll probably try to spend $150 at a grocery store on average. I'm just guessing here. And you see this EPT lady, it looks like fucking Jabba the Hutt, going right in front of you with like $300 worth of damn groceries. Sodas, ice creams, cookies, Twinkies, ding dongs, Little Debbie snack sticks, all this junk food, chips and everything else. And when they run short on supply of the fucking chips and cookies, then you have fights sprawling out, basically. So I have no sympathy, basically, for these EPT ladies, okay? Or the EPT men as well. Okay? It looks like to me they can lose weight, get a fucking job, where they don't have to fucking worry about it, okay? That may sound heartless, but hey, like the Joker says, sometimes you gotta learn how to use your heart less and tell these people the fucking truth. Now, I do know there are some exceptions to the rule, okay? I do realize that, okay? There are some women that just aren't able to work and that they need that. I understand that, no problem. I'm talking one who's able to work and not willing to work. And one thing these ladies crying about they can't feed their kids. Where are the fucking baby daddies? Where are the fucking fathers at? How come they're not paying fucking child support or doing their part to help feed the damn kids? Okay, pardon my language, but if a guy stick his dick in some girl's pussy and she gets fucking pregnant, then he needs to be held accountable as well. Where are the fathers of these damn kids? And how come they're not going after the fathers for fucking child support? Okay, while you're relying on the damn taxpayers, where every state in the union damn near has strong child support laws. What's going on with that right there? Now, I know it's a little longer than usual, but I'm going to see some more video stuff like that where one lady explaining what the majority of these fucking women are doing these damn food stamp cards, basically, and Alex Jones and Senator Fetterman, basically, was explaining to you a little more stuff like that, and how the Democrat Party is using the American people as leverage, trying to get what they want, basically, okay? But we'll see where this takes us right here, all right? Peace, bye-bye, see you later. Peace out.
The Democrats are committed. They're like kamikazes. They don't care that they're getting the blame for this politically, which they deserve. This is what cornered rats do. So here is Fetterman, who is smart enough to leave a sinking ship when it's sinking. And then we'll go right into J.D. Vance. And he does a great analogy about we're sticking little pieces of bubble gum over cracks in the dam. Yeah, Trump gets a few $100 million here for this, $100 million for that. He doesn't have $8 billion for this SNAP payment. Oh, that's just the SNAP payment. He doesn't have that in slush funds. So he's exhausted the extra little pools of money he had. I've looked it up. And so the Democrats are like, you need to figure out how to find money other places so the Democrat shutdown doesn't do this. And all over the news is like, well, you need to pull more rabbits out of a hat and you need to figure it out. And Vance is like, what are you talking about? They're the ones that did this. And we need to hold them responsible for whatever happens. And then we've got Teamsters president Sean O'Brien just called out the Democrats and demanded that they vote to ruin the government. Let's play those back to back.
So what are you hearing back home about SNAP expiring on Saturday?
I'm saying that I will witness it firsthand. My wife, Giselle, she develops the free store in our community, and it distributes food 3 times a week. And her lines have already got longer. And now I will encounter people that have no SNAP benefits starting on Saturday, and I don't have an explanation for them. All I could say is, I'm sorry. It's an absolute failure what occurred here for the last month, and now things are really going to land. And imagine being a parent with a couple kids and how you're going to fill their refrigerator and pack their lunches and get on with their lives when the things that they've depended on now is gone because we can't even agree to just open things up. For a Democrat, we're not allowed to just open this up. I mean, then our party has bigger problems than I thought we might have already. It's like, that's not controversial. Pay everybody. And you have our workers here borrowed over $350 million to pay their own bills. Like, it's a failure. And like I said, to all of the viewers, I'm apologizing that we can't even get our together and just open up our government.
Schumer said this gets better politically every day for Democrats. What do you say to that?
Yeah, well, ask the hungry people on Saturday. It's like, that's the thing. Americans are not leverage. This is not some game show about who's winning or whatever. It's just like we have to be better than this and just open this up. And I do, talk to any number of Republicans who they agree that we have this conversation about extending these tax credits.
Vice President, on the issue of the shutdown, there is the concern about 42 million people losing their SNAP benefits. Of course. Over this weekend. The administration moved a lot of money around to pay troops, to pay federal law enforcement, and is telling Congress you can't move money around to pay some of those benefits. Why not? And would there be some push perhaps in the next 48 hours to try to do that so Americans don't go hungry?
Well, here's the problem.
if you go back to previous government shutdowns, what has happened is that sometimes the president has tried to make the shutdown as painful as possible on the American people. I give the president of the United States great credit and the entire team for trying to make this as painless as possible. The Democrats are acting irresponsibly. He doesn't want the American people to suffer because of it. But look, right now, this government, this administration, we're like guys running around, with a leak in a damn wall, trying to plug it with bubble gum. And we plug one spot with bubble gum, and we plug another spot with bubble gum, and we plug another spot with bubble gum. Why don't the Democrats just stop this entire charade and reopen the government so that we don't have to try to make this thing work on a shoestring budget, which is what we're trying to do. The unfortunate reality, and we're starting to see this with our aviation industry, we're going to find out the hard way with SNAP benefits. The American people are already suffering, and the suffering is going to get a lot worse. Not because the President of the United States has failed to make the shutdown painless. He's tried to do everything that he can to make it as unpainless as possible. The reason that pain is coming and the reason it's building is because we're not passing the clean bill to reopen the government. It's a very easy thing to do.
Clean heart and say, open up the government, and then let's have a conversation. I'll give it to the team, Sir Sean O'Brien.
Thank you very much, Secretary Duffy. Thank you, Vice President Vance. Look, the bottom line, and we took a position, I represent 1.3 million working men and women in this country for the International Brotherhood of Teamsters. We took a position 3 weeks ago. Pass a clean CR, get to the table, negotiate a deal. Do not put working people in the middle of a problem they should not be in there. And we got to think about the families that are going to be affected. Think about when you have to tell your son or daughter they can't play sports because you're not getting paid. Think about when you can't pay your mortgage. Think about when you can't pay your tuition. Put the politics aside, get to the table, negotiate a deal, pass a clean CR right now, and then figure out the problems moving forward. And I want to thank the air traffic controllers. I want to thank the aviation administration for all their hard work and sacrifice they make. And look, security and safety of the airlines is paramount. Let's not compromise the safety and security. Pass a clean CR. Thank you. Thank you, Sean. Anybody else?
So they even have the famous big liberal union saying this is wrong. And the polls show the Democrats are being destroyed. But it shows how reckless they are. Most CIT is gone. The air traffic controllers aren't being paid. Over a month, no TSA being paid. What's going to happen when a couple passenger jets collide if this continues? And it's going to happen. They're already canceling flights, closing airports. Imagine rolling the dice like that. Because they don't think they'll ever face any consequences for what they're doing. It's that simple.
Methylene Red is
people I've seen sell food stamps to get their hair done, nails done, their toes done, buy an outfit to go to the club, drugs, a lot. If I've seen it, other people seen it. You know what? That's why people don't give two fucks. I've seen women get a new man. The man got the food stamp. Now, the food stamp is for her and her kids. The man has the food stamp card and he in the grocery store buying shit that he wants. People see that shit. You know what? They don't give two fucks. Some kids go to school and get breakfast and lunch, no dinner, because mama now sold the food stamps for shit that she wanted. Dumb people don't give two fucks. And people are saying, well, what about my kids? Well, yeah, what about your kids when you had the food stamps, you out there selling them? What did you think about your children then? The fucked up shit that people do, people see that. So now people are like, I don't care. Life is about to start life for a lot of people. But don't get mad when people don't give two fucks. Because we see so many people out there abusing that shit that they be like, I don't give a shit. What about my kids? What about your kids? When you was out there doing that fucked up shit with them food stamps, what about your kids then?
I haven't decided exactly when tomorrow we are going to do a special live emergency report. Maybe later in the day, so that we have more time to see what unfolds or matures or rots, as we should say. But I believe you will see a lot of uptick in violence and civil unrest and murder and robbery and looting and general lawlessness tomorrow, whether or not the Senate Republicans vote with a simple majority, which they can do, to override the filibuster. But that's been around forever, and if you get rid of it, well, then when the next party gets in, if you ever get rid of it, you can't bring it back. then they can, with a simple majority, bring in a lot of tyranny. So it's a speed bump that the founders put in there for a reason. But we are in a crisis, and so Trump has called for the filibuster to be removed because the Democrats are about to cut off 40+ million people's benefits that are totally dependent on it. Some are really disabled. Some people really need it. Most of them just were brought up on it and never had jobs and have no idea how to fend for themselves. And a lot of people obviously sell them to buy drugs and things like that. But it will be explosive, like walking into a munitions factory and lighting a stick of dynamite and throwing it in, to a stack of artillery shells. Who knows how big it'll be or how the explosion is going to go off or how crazy it's going to be is really up to how long this shutdown goes. But I don't see the filibuster being overridden today or tomorrow or next week because the Senate has wisely kept that. Even both parties have not, they want to get rid of it. I mean, some of the parties have called for it. The Democrats, wanted it during Trump's first term, but they were smart enough to understand, the Republicans will get that later. It is called the nuclear option for a reason. But I understand why Trump's saying get rid of it because he's talking about a nuclear option. This is another nuclear option of all the SNAP and EBT cutoff. And the Democrats fully intend to keep the shutdown going indefinitely because it's all they have left to hold the country hostage. The primary method invoking cloture, the standard way to end a filibuster, is through a cloture vote under Senate rules. Here's how it works step by step. File a cloture motion. At least 16 senators sign and submit a petition to end debate on the bill, nomination or measure. This can happen while the filibuster is ongoing. Lay over period. That's the second way. The motion lays over for one full legislative day, which may span multiple calendar days of the Senate recess rather than adjourns. During this time, debate can continue. Number 3, vote on cloture after the layover. The Senate votes on the motion. A 60-vote threshold is required to invoke cloture. 3/5 of the full Senate, assuming all 100 members vote, is successful. So we will watch that very, very closely. And coming up, I've got federal unions. I've got Fetterman. I've got a whole bunch of senior Democrats saying, look, this is the Democrats. The Republicans brought forward a clean bill. The Republicans voted 13 times to not shut things down with bills that weren't even this clean with Biden. They didn't play dirty. And now, 10 months into Trump, everything they've done to try to stop us has failed. So now they're holding the country hostage. And even corporate media now is asking them, well, why are you doing this? Well, we really can't say. And then you've got all these senior Democrats like Schumer and others saying, this is the only leverage we have. So out of one side of their mouth, they admit they're doing it. Out of the other side, they say it's the Republicans. And I guess the Republicans could say, okay, here's your $100 billion for illegal aliens to have free health care and everything else. Okay, here's your billions of dollars for transgender surgeries. Okay, all the stuff you put in there, just whatever you want, you get it. And you're basically in charge, even though your party lost the House, the Senate, in the legislative and the executive, and doesn't control the judicial. The Republican Party under Trump has the trifecta. All 3 branches of the federal government. Now, the Democrats have almost every city in the country is blue. Most of the big towns are. They control a minority of the states, but some of the biggest populations. Through election fraud, they stay in control, and their incredible legendary gerrymandering that the Republicans are now rolling back a little. I mean, it's nothing compared to the gerrymandering the Democrats were involved in. Like, I don't even see gerrymandering by Republicans. I see them pushing back lightly, and 5 new seats for Republicans just by redistricting so far. It needs to be a lot more. I mean, you look at how California and all these states are drawn up. It's totally insane for the Democrats. Illinois is the worst, probably. So their reign of corruption and manipulation is coming to an end. They have the lowest approval ratings in their history, the lowest fundraising in their history. They are extincting themselves, What we're seeing is a temper tantrum, death rattle, doom spiral as they try to suck us down to the black hole of their demise. So let me just play you the latest. I mean, there's hundreds of these. EBT American urges Walmart staff to let shoppers steal if benefits cut. Well, yeah, they'll kill them if they don't. EBT recipient, Trump has 2.5 seconds to turn food stamps back on, or we'll all steal from Walmart. See, it's like a starting gun. It's like the light's turning green at the ND 500. It's the excuse to do this. We've got Islamicists. There's been a lot of EBT videos all over X, and they're all very repetitive. This one stands above them all. The level of entitlement is amazing. Yeah, people think these are joke videos. No, that's how entitled these lunatics are. And then this woman, oh, we're going to starve to death. Why is it always a 400 or 500-pound woman telling us about how she's going to starve? So go to these, and then I'll go to Fetterman. Here it is.
Let me tell y'all something. If they don't give out them stamps at the beginning of the month, I know one thing for certain, two things for sure. All y'all Walmart greeters and receipt checkers better do what Martin Luther King told you to do and turn the other cheek. If you see somebody walking out with the stake in their hood, turn the other cheek. You see somebody with the oxtail print on their chest under the shirt, turn the other cheek. If you see somebody walk out with a whole cart full because they got kids, what would you do if your son was at home crying all alone on the bedroom floor because he hungry, They got kids to feed at home, so they walking out with the cart full. What you gonna do? Turn that other cheek. And to all of the security, the loss prevention, you ain't preventing nothing next month. Don't zoom in on the cameras in the back, zoom out. If you want to be a part of the revolution, zoom out on the cameras and turn the other cheek at the door. Don't you be on your job. Don't stand on their business. You stand on the people's business. Stand on business for the people. Turn the other cheek, zoom out.
Let me tell you something. Trump got about 2.5 seconds to turn these motherfucking stamps back on. Or it's gonna be a Jet 2 motherfucking holiday all up and through Walmart. And I ain't fucking playing. Cause let me tell you something. You got us fucked up. You got us fucked up if you think we're not gonna go in these stores and do what the fuck we was already doing. We was already doing it, but see now, we telling y'all, okay, we was already telling y'all, but see now, we don't give a fuck. Damn, we already didn't give a fuck. Damn. Well, I guess ain't really nothing to say, but turn the fucking stamps back on, nigga. That's your ass.
Please stop donating meal kits to food pantries. First of all, this is not disability accessible. People have food allergies, people are gluten intolerant, people are lactose intolerant. In fact, a lot of non-white people are lactose intolerant. And this also takes away choice and autonomy to poor people. You're saying, here, I meal planned for you, instead of letting them choose what they should do with the food. And I'm not saying this to be callous, but all of these recipes are for white people. Okay? And people who are not white want to be able to cook the foods that they're familiar with, that their children will eat, that make them feel good or comfortable or, pull at their heartstrings. They should be allowed to uphold their cultural foods and eat their cultural diet. And if a portion of their food benefit is your white-centric, lactose-laden meal plan, it's doing more harm than good.
And next week, when millions of people are going to have to resort to possibly stealing in order to feed themselves and their families, and the government complains, because they will complain about the crime rate going up, even though they're the ones who fucking did it.
I guarantee you this creature can't wipe
Make
her
sure
ass.
you point your anger at the system and the people at the top, because they're the ones who took the food away from families and poor people and starving children. The poor people just want to eat. They just want to survive like the rest of us. They just want to keep living like the rest of us. So when you see them stealing, because you will, because they're going to have to, make sure your anger isn't directed at the individual. This goes so much deeper. It's time to flip some fucking tables.
Yeah, it's a revolution. And then, of course, these businesses will just shut down like they've done in most of the blue cities. Now the looters are going to have to travel 30, 40 miles to go loot someplace. They'll kill people. And it's the revolution, ladies and gentlemen. And all we'll do is hurt the consumers, hurt the average American with prices going up and the insurance going up. It's all part of the stabilization plan that Tim Walz's wife said when Minneapolis was burning and he had the National Guard stand down. She said she loved it because she's a Maoist. These people are disgusting. Absolutely criminal. And the Democrats have done this, but they're moron constituents. I mean, I guarantee you that 500-pound woman of your radio listener, you didn't get subjected to looking at her. I mean, she weighs 500 pounds. I bet she can barely walk. Guarantee you that ass ain't getting washed. She can't even fit in a full giant, king-size bathtub. I'm not trying to be mean. It's just, what the hell? Here's another one of these Jabba the Hutt creatures talking about starving to death because of Trump. Here it is.
Of the school district, I only get paid once a month. By the time I get my bills paid, I have nothing left to pay for food and other basic needs. If it wasn't for SNAP benefits, I wouldn't be able to feed my children or myself. I work, pay my bills, and like every other mom, I want to be sure that I have enough food to put on the table.
What do you want to bet her kids all weigh 200, 300 pounds and that they're eating 10,000 calories a day? Now, they sit there, they eat full cakes, gallons of ice cream, giant containers of Twinkies. I mean, they shoot videos. They're proud of it. And then they don't have jobs, most of them, and then they want us to sit there and take care of their disgusting lard asses. And they're all as stupid as you can get. And this is what socialism grows. In a real society, your back's broken, whatever, you don't have family take care of you, okay, we take care of you. But when you want to sit around and eat 3 boxes of Lucky Charms every day, I mean, look at this. We have created this. We have grown these creatures, these entitled monsters who are all Democrats. Good Lord, get it off the screen. Compared to the first Trump administration, this one's 20 times more hardcore. Because for what you know on the surface going on, behind the scenes, it's spectacular. I mean, the intelligence operations Trump is now running on them is amazing. Finding out who's who, planting information, testing systems. And I can tell you, the work you see on air is most of what we do, but the other 20% or so that's behind the scenes is amazing. And we are getting a very good map of who they are, how they're operating. You're going to see exponential purge of bad guys out of the government in the coming weeks and months. This is so exciting. And Trump has moved in loyal people from the U.S. military into key positions that have run serious operations against our enemies worldwide. And we have the biggest enemies here domestically. And we're rolling them up. And if you think all the documents have come out in the last 6 months are bad, because it took them 4 months just to get in there, they are scared, folks.
Can you prove any of this? Why do you think I'm still alive? All right. We'd like to take you into protective custody, Mr. Rookwood. Oh, I'm sure you would. But if you want that recording, you'll do what I tell you to do. You put Creedy under 24-hour surveillance. When I feel safe that he can't pick his nose without you knowing, I'll contact you again. Till then, cheerio. Rookwood, why didn't you come forward before? What were you waiting for? Well, for you, Inspector. I needed you.
Why didn't you come forward?